First,
Welcome.
would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Mark Byrne and I'm the Dean of Independent College, so I'm responsible for all the undergrad and postgrad and professional courses that we run within the college on the independent college side of the business.
Okay, tell me, Mark, which kind of masters do you offer?
So at the moment we offer one master's program, which is the MA in Dispute Resolution. It's a master's that specialises in mediation, arbitration, basically getting people who are unhappy with each other or organisations that are unhappy with each other and trying to come to sort of a common agreement at the end. So training people basically in how to do mediation. It's a 3 semesters program, 12 weeks for one semester, 12 weeks for the next semester, and then 1 semester of a dissertation. And it's a level 9 program, so it's a full master's program.
Okay, and tell me, for the people, let's say the other international students that come here from, and they want to study a master, but they want to work.
Yes.
Which kind of program do you have for them? Okay,
so we are very aware of the needs of our students, all of our students, whether they be national or international students, that they all want to work or have to work. And in some ways I think that's good, because having to balance study with paid work, like I had to do it, and I can see why it's a good thing, because when you go into employment, employers actually look for students who, they're keen to work as in paid work, but they also balance their educational studies as well. So with an eye to that, what we did was we reflected on the fact that students have demands of them outside of college. So we said, okay, so how can we help the students? So one of the things we've done is our program runs on 3 days,
okay,
rather than 4 or 5 that other colleges may have. So at the moment, the students come in on Wednesday, so the class is on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and then the rest of the week they're able to do their studies but also work. And we find that the feedback that we get from students is that when they go to employers, the employers really like the fact that, okay, those 3 days are gone, but the other 4 days we can give time to those, give time to the employee. But we do also expect the students to study as well. So it's not just the time on college and then work. It's that, and that is one of the things that we talk to all new students about during induction. We talk about the balance between paid work, college work, and a social life. And the social life is quite important.
Yeah.
So we want people to have a social life, and not just pubs and clubs, but exercise as well. And we spend a bit of time talking about that, the importance of that.
That's good, because I know in the Irish culture, you like to balance work life and as well, your life outside the job.
Absolutely. Well, we're our college, the vast majority of our students work, vast majority. If you went into a state institution, you'd probably find that the percentage of students working would not be as high, because they're living at home rather than studying at a university away from home. Which I actually keep saying to our students, the vast majority who aren't staying at home, I really commend them for going away from home and studying. So I worked for a long time in the UK, and the UK students tend to go away to university, which I would agree with. You're better to go away and go to university.
Okay, and let's say, how is the range of prices for these masters?
Well, we're certainly not the most expensive, and we're not the cheapest either. I think we are keenly priced in the market. We did some research with our students a couple of weeks ago, myself and some other colleagues, and we were talking to them about our course in our college and how we sort of presented ourselves to students. And one of the things that came back clearly was that our students see us as good value for money. So other colleges will charge more, but actually when the students go there, they don't find that the experience is very good. The experience doesn't match the fee.
Okay.
But our students will say that the fee is appropriate, if not, you'd be surprised to hear this, they're surprised at the fee for the quality of the teaching. So you mentioned the master's program. All of the lecturers on the master's programs have work experience or are still working in the area. most, if not all, are qualified mediators. Whereas if you go to other universities, you might find that the lecturers have never worked in the actual field that they're teaching and may not be qualified as, in this case, as mediators.
Yeah, and that makes difference, you know, when you have experience in the field and when you don't have.
Absolutely.
It's different kind of the way you teach.
Well, you know, you're either getting taught by somebody who's can understand the theory but hasn't actually done it, or somebody who's actually done it or is doing it and knows the theory. And to me, it's much better to have somebody who's actually done it teaching you than somebody who's sort of hypothetically saying this is what might happen. And especially in mediation, because part of the course is practical, and that's quite important.
What kind of jobs they can get after?
So we found people have done different things with the job. With the qualification, the masters. Some people have used it to go on and do further studies. So we do have some people who've gone on and are thinking about PhDs in Ireland and in different countries actually. We've had some people who've gotten jobs in fields that are not directly related to mediation. We've got a couple of students who are working in businesses that, you know, their MA in dispute resolution is not, you know, absolutely relevant to their work area. But what they're saying is that the skills and abilities that they've gained in that course has really helped them. And then we have had a few students, we have had graduates who are actually working as mediators, who've actually gone on and gotten, some of them have actually set themselves up as mediators. So it's a course that opens up lots of avenues. The other thing is that because it's level 9 on the Irish framework, it's internationally recognised. So you can go internationally and go, you know, I have a master's from Ireland, and other jurisdictions will say, so that's great, so we know what that is, and therefore you can do, you know, PhD with us or whatever it is.
Okay, and do you have, like, because I don't know, but do you have other levels of masters, or you just have the number level 9?
We only have one at the moment, but
Okay.
we've got one in development,
Okay.
which is a master's in digital marketing.
Oh, that's great. I
Yeah.
take that. That's really good.
Yeah. We've had a lot of people talk to us about it. So where that is at the moment is we have submitted the paperwork because we have to get it approved. We're just waiting now. There's a couple of steps that has to happen. Some of it is us and some of it is externally. So we would hope to have that validated this year to recruit to it next year. So
Okay.
not this year, next year for recruitment. And obviously we'll let everybody know when it's available.
That's good. That's hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah. So at the moment we have 3 undergrad degrees. We've got a BA Honours in Marketing, a BA Honours in Accounting and Finance, and a BA Honours in Business Studies. The marketing degree is just a straightforward marketing degree, accounting and finance degree, and then the BA Honours in Business Studies is a degree for people who maybe not quite sure what they want to study yet in terms of detail. So the marketing degree is, you know, a fairly straightforward marketing degree. The accounting and finance degree has ACCA exemptions, so it's got the full 9 as well as exemptions for people who want to go on and definitely want to do finance and accounting. Then we have the BA Honours in Business Studies. So these are all 3-year degree programs. At the end of year 1, we've built the degrees so that if a student who originally enrolled in the accounting and finance degree decides, actually, I want to do marketing, they can switch at the end of year 1. There's usually no problem. We would just ask the student, you know, to confirm that they want to change degree. And they can switch between all 3 degrees. The business studies degree, so those students will do sort of a general study degree for first year and second year, and then in the 3rd year they get a choice of 4 pathways. So there's an accounting and finance pathway, a management pathway, a marketing pathway, and an IT pathway. So, you know, if I give you the example of a student who's thinking about doing accounting and finance but is not sure, so they don't really want to do the full degree in accounting and finance, they can do the business studies degree, do 2 years, and then say, okay, I do want to do the accounting and finance pathway. So then they can choose there. And what we also do is we allow students to do 2 weeks of each pathway if they wish, and then after 2 weeks they decide they're definite which pathway they want to do.
That's cool.
Well, it's just to give the students the maximum amount of flexibility, because we know that, you know, the students can take their time. Some students will decide they want to do accounting and finance straight away. Other students will think, I'm not too sure. So my actual undergrad degree is business studies. So I didn't decide for 2 years that I wanted to do the pathway that I chose. Just a word about COVID. So in March 2020, obviously COVID had an impact on education in higher education in Ireland. Lots of different institutions reacted in different ways. I'll just give you some highlights as to what we did. So we were informed by the Irish government that we had to close face-to-face delivery on around the 16th, 17th, I think, I can't remember the exact date. What we did was we invested heavily in training of staff, and we trained some students as well. And we reopened the following Friday with the exact same timetable, but online. So we use Zoom. You may find that other colleges use different applications. We use Zoom. So the students had the exact same timetable as they would face-to-face, but they had it on Zoom. And that's how we finished out the semester. And the students were generally happy with the fact that there was no real disruption to the timetable. Instead of coming to campus, they just switched on their PCs and the lecture was there, and we continued on. In September 20, we started again face-to-face, but then the Irish government said, you know, it's not working, everybody has to go back online, and we did that again. And of course, earlier in 2021, we continued online. So what we said at the end of last semester was that we would be quite clear with our students and get them ready for September 21, and we said we would do what's called hybrid delivery. So in that case, we have students who come into campus in week 1, and then they come back in week 4. The group that was online for group for week 1 will come in on week 2, and then they'll come back in week 5, and so on and so on. So we have students who are in the classroom and students who are online in the same class, and we've trained our lecturers how to do this. And it's after the first week, it's going really well. The students are enjoying it. The staff are happy enough, so it seems to be working.
That's good, and I think it's more dynamic.
Well,
a little bit. What
we didn't want was there's a lot of institutions who their teaching starts next week, and they haven't told their students, never mind their lecturers, what they're going to do. We didn't want to be in that position. We wanted to be clear from the beginning, and we've also adopted a careful approach to returning to campus. We still, as you walk around, you'll see that everybody's wearing a mask. You'll see that the desks in the classrooms are socially distanced. Other universities have decided that they are going to bring everybody back, and no social distancing, just masks, which we think is not appropriate at this point in time.
Okay, Mark, tell us what is available outside for the students, outside the class?
So what we did over the summer, we ran a summer school for students, and that was organised by my colleague Niamh. It was a load of events that students could do in terms of continuing their studies in a light way during the summer months, in terms of interview skills, some Excel classes and things like that. What we also do during the term is, at no extra cost, in the summer school was no extra cost, but during the semester we have a slot booked on our timetable between 11:30 on a Wednesday and 12:30, where Niamh has organised different events, presentations, workshops, etc. Then also on top of that, we have workshops in academic writing and in numeracy skills effectively. So we have a very highly qualified person doing English academic classes, and he's brilliant. And then we have another ex-student actually who does the numeracy classes, and they're on at the moment, they're on 4 times a week in the evening. So that's our way of supporting students and, you know, helping them to get along in their studies. Those classes are online, so there's no need to come into class for those ones.
And they're free?
Completely free.
Oh, that's
yeah, all they have to do is reserve a space, because we want to make sure that there's not too many in a class, so that the facilitator, Lucas, can, you know, he has not too many people who are asking them questions. We like to sort of spread it out.
Okay, perfect. So we have as well like a summer
Summer school.
Summer schools.
Yeah.
Like what consists all these summer school? Like it's for just for teenagers as well?
No, this is for
everybody?
this is for either prospective students or current students, and
Okay.
it's different things. Sometimes students tell us what they want us to run, and sometimes we just run them and say, we're going to run a class in basic Excel skills.
Alright.
And you'd be surprised, like students will turn up, and I suppose it helps that it's free, but it's in their spare time. So we're quite happy to do that. The other thing that we do for any applicant is that we run pre-sessional courses.
What is that like?
So if a student on, let's say, the master's program, to get onto the master's program you have to have level 6.5 IELTS.
Okay.
And that has to be proven. So we do free testing, or if somebody turns up with a certificate from a language school that says, student X has 6.5, we can interview them and they could be accepted on the course. But even so, we say to some students, because one of the things that we find when we interview students, and we do interview all students, is we ask them, what do you think could be a challenge? And a lot of them say their level of English, and it's a confidence thing. So what we do is, if they've applied and been accepted on the course, we say to them, we arrange what's called a pre-sessional English course, so that they can improve their English even before they start the course, and it just helps them to gain a bit of confidence. It's not a requirement. If they've already achieved the scale that we require, it's not a requirement. They can do it, and it's free.
Oh, that's really I
Yeah.
think that's a really big plus.
Yeah.
Not every school does that. So do that. So I think it's a really good.
No, and again, it's it's something that we've said to students I interview some students sometimes for the master's program or the undergrad program, and I say to them, look, your English is great, and they say, oh, I'm still not happy with it or something, and I say, we say to all the students, there is a pre-sessional course that's free, and they go, do I have to do it? No, you've been accepted, you've got a place, and they will still want to do the pre-sessional course, which is brilliant.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Because they want to improve themselves, to be better.
So one other point just to say about the level 8 and the level 9 courses and what the differences are. The level 8 courses are on the national framework. It means that they're honours degree programs, so they're level 8. And then the master's program is level 9 on the national framework. So once a student graduates with a level 8, they can apply for a 1-year Remain visa if they're an international student. On the master's program, when they pass the master's program, they can apply for a 2-year Remain visa, and that's the difference between those two visas for those two courses for international students with regard to visas.
Okay, so level 8 is 1-year visa and level 9 is like 2 years. Okay, perfect. So, voy a poner todo en español luego, pero voy a traducir todo lo que Mark nos está contando ahorita porque creo que es información súper importante para todos los que no quieren un curso de inglés, que quieren algo más, pues los voy a estar dejando por aquí, no sean flojos. Así que aprendan inglés conmigo y con Mark. Tell me, who can apply for these courses, for these masters and degrees?
So to apply for the undergrad degree, anybody who's got a high school diploma, or even if they've got a degree or a master's from another jurisdiction in particular, they can apply for the undergrad degree. For the master's program, you must have a level 8 equivalent degree. So you cannot have a degree and apply for the master's program. For the master's program, we'd also like to see some work experience, if possible, relevant work experience, but that's not necessary really. And then basically, anybody who applies, we will help them to, what will they get out of the course, what do they want to achieve, and we do ask them that during the interview process. What are you hoping to achieve as a result of the degree? And we welcome applications from anybody really, whoever from whatever jurisdiction. They're all welcome to apply, and it's free to apply obviously as well.
And the degrees as well work same as the master's, like just 3 days per week, like for international studies?
So again, that was based on feedback from students. Okay. They and the employers like the fact that it's 3 days commitment, plus obviously, other stuff to do during the week in terms of homework or assessments. But it does mean that it's much easier for the student to plan the rest of their week knowing that they've got 3 days and 4 days, and the 4 days is where they fit in all their other stuff.
Okay, perfect. So all the classes and all the degrees are in this building?
This building only, yeah.
Okay.
So this building was fitted out a few years ago as a purpose-built education building. All the rooms have PCs and projectors. Obviously now that we're teaching online, in hybrid, we've got webcams in all the rooms plus speakers. So it's a really interesting experience that when you're teaching, I was teaching this week, you're teaching both people who are in front of you and people who are online. And you can actually have a conversation with people who are online because you can ask for questions and they just switch on their mic and say, hey Mark, I've got a question. And everybody in the room can go, yeah. Well, and we had a great discussion about a few things. So we really are enabling the participation as much as possible. We're trying to make it fairly seamless for people who are online and in the classroom concurrently at the same time.
That's good because as well as a challenge, it's not that easy to teach, people who is in the house at home and people who is in the room,
But it's to be fair, we spent, during July, we spent a lot of time talking to lecturers and showing them how to work with students who are face-to-face and students who are online. And the feedback that we're getting from students is that they really like being back in the classroom and they're thanking us for that. And the ones who are online are saying, we understand why we're online and we're looking forward to coming in next week or the week after, and then we rotate through. So the minimum number of times a student will be on campus is 4 times.
At the moment, right?
At the moment, in current restrictions.
Yeah.
So the feedback from the students is really positive because they've seen what other colleges are doing and they don't like what other colleges do. We seem to, after a lot of thought and reflection, got it right.
Well, that's good because you have one step, ahead of other schools.
Well, yeah, I think we've taken on board the feedback that we got from the students. I mean, we spend a lot of time talking to and listening to students in various different ways, and we do listen to the students. And we've got a good engagement program with representatives of the students. So we don't just expect students to come into class and then disappear. Our engagement with students starts at the interview process, and then with lecturers, and then with Neve, our learner engagement manager, and me. So I'm never that far away from students in terms of them being able to contact me, but usually through Neve and through the lecturers, and a lot is sorted out by those guys before it comes up to me, but I'm always happy to meet with students as well.
Well, now I wanted to ask you, why independent college is the best option for international students, or can be international, well, even Irish, if they are seeing this video, but
for any student.
For any student, like which make the difference from other schools,
from other institutions?
Yeah,
good question. I suppose what I'd say is that we're very student focused. Like students arrive at independent college and we get to know them quite well. The communication is always, we think, clear. Students know what the college is about, they know what the courses are about. The lecturers are all friendly and engaged and don't just see when they walk into a room, people without personalities. They don't see numbers as in student numbers, they see people with names. Some who have some great background, and the lecturers will engage with the students, not talk at them, but enjoy the learning experience together and be discussive. Whereas I think in other institutions where there's big numbers of students, the lecturer appears in the room or online, does the teaching, and then sort of disappears. We're well known for not being like that. The other thing I'd say about our relationship with students is that we support the students insofar as students have issues. Some students will have issues. If the students tell us what the issue is, we will try and support them as best as we can. And we're very good at going back to students and saying, we understand what the problem is. Here's what we think you should do, or this is how we can help you. And we've got a reputation for doing that as well.
That's great. Well, ya saben, si quieren estudiar algo que no sea un curso de inglés, esta es una buena opción. Ya saben que si quieren también más información, siempre les dejo aquí abajito el link de los asesores para que se informen y compren su curso, así que ya saben. Y bueno, I want to say thank you.
No worries, you're
Mark.
most welcome.
Thank you for having us today here, and thank you for the really good information, for the time. I really appreciate. And I don't know, you want to say something? Maybe it's important to people know about.
No, we've covered a lot. I suppose the best thing to say would be, if you're interested in coming to college, just let us know. We're always, interested to talk to people who are interested in coming, and let us know what they want to do and whether we can help them.
Así que ya saben, vengan a Irlanda. Chicos, de verdad que si realmente ustedes están interesados en aprender, en mejorar o tener un nivel superior de estudios, Irlanda creo que es una buena oportunidad para todas esas personas que tienen las ganas de superarse y aprender un idioma nuevo. Así que ya lo saben. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Nice to meet you.